My name's Oscar Dominguez, and I'm a lighting designer. I've been designing for the last 24 years and been in the business now coming up on 35 years. I'm the founder and president of Darkfire Lighting Design, a small group in Los Angeles, California that has a handful of television lighting designers who go around and light shows for a living. I'm the lighting designer on The Bachelor, The Voice, and Shark Tank. We're currently in production on The 1% Club for Amazon and Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity for MGM. I broke into the industry in a sort of a strange way. I would almost say the industry kind of found me. I was a high school dropout and sort of wandering around very aimlessly, and my dad managed a Mexican restaurant in Van Nuys up the road from a small place called Valley Production Center, just a small little soundstage where they would do real estate continuation training and America's Top 10 with Casey Kasem was a show back in the day, and they were in the bar drinking one night as they often did, and my dad sort of was talking about how, my son, and, he kind of has no direction, but I think he would like whatever it is that you guys do there. And I said, well, come on in. And so I turned up one day, and everyone was really nice and sort of showed me around this little facility. They said, okay, well, come on in, try this out. We need you to clean this, that, and the other, and kind of, if you do a good job, you can come back tomorrow. So I went about my little task and did my thing, and about a month in, one of the electricians didn't show up for a gig that was happening there. And so they said, well, here's a wrench, go hang this light. And that's basically how I started in this industry, just sort of right place at the right time. I met Simon Miles, who's a lighting designer, famous guy, extremely talented, and someone who really opened up my eyes as to what the possibilities were in this as a career. We met on a show called Saturday Night Special. It was done here at CBS Radford. On that show, it was my first introduction to a meaningful moving light rig. And once I saw that and really saw, again, it was like that moment of putting the Phillips screwdriver and a drill together and going like, oh, I can put a lot more screws in faster and I can do all these things. And it started to really kind of open up my mind, and his design aesthetic and approach to things changed the way I approach things. He made a pretty significant impression in my life and in my design aesthetic. Well, I think I might be a little biased in saying that, lighting is probably one of the most important things, only because of the fact that we're such visual creatures. Those, colors or shadow play or how bright something is, instantly gives you that instant feel. I notice it when you'll do a big change in lighting where the audience, you'll hear like a gasp. The ability to reproduce that and to bring that to the audience then brings in that feel. You're now bringing them into that intimate scene or whatever it is you're trying to evoke, or, excitement or drama or all these things. They're all done via these instruments that we have, these tools that we use. With the advent of LED technology and the ability to change color with such velocity, it's opened the palette to us, in an incredible way. It really has changed the way that I'm able to design and look at different situations. There was a director of photography who told me once, he said, you need to say everything you're trying to say in a single frame. And I think that what he meant by that is that first impression that you get is what's going to sort of set that mood in the direction that the production designer, the director, the overall production wants you to feel. One of the most unique challenges that we had once, we did Fear Factor for NBC. The director, J. Rupert Thompson, great guy, someone who really inspired me and pushed me into a lot of different sort of alternative methods of lighting, let's say. And in one of those interesting shoots, we are like, hey, we need to get a very different feel. I want to do something unique and very different. We were in a basement in downtown LA. And I thought, okay, why don't we do it all with mag lights? And so we literally did. We shot the entire thing with mag lights. And so we bought a bunch of them, and we had all the contestants holding them. They would be like lighting the stunt and lighting themselves. And then we had, just to be consistent, we needed to add a little bit of fill. We mounted a couple of mag lights and a piece of foam core and would bounce it and use the mag. So we did the entire thing with mag lights. We also did one once where we used barrels on fire and mirrors. And so we used fire and mirrors, and that was our main lighting source. So I like to, anything that emits light, I'll use. I don't care. Car headlight, lighter, your watch light, your iPhone light, this thing, anything that emits light we'll use. Well, my approach to collaboration may be a little bit different. Ultimately, the goal is for all of us to create something great. So I think that collaboration, or the ability to collaborate, I think really starts with being open to hearing other people's thoughts and ideas and what it is that they want and how your part of it contributes to that. The process of collaboration starts with communication. That is probably one of the most important aspects, and also not being too precious about it, because it's not just your project, it's everyone's project. One of the things I like to say when they go like, well, what do you want to do with your lights? And I say, well, they're not my lights, they're our lights. It was a few years later that I actually had to sit down and thank my father. I really had no direction or anything, but I was really grateful that he was able to introduce me to these wonderful television people. It completely changed the trajectory of my entire life. Lighting has been something that now has become an integral part of who I am and who I want to be.